on a late-night drive through the desolate countryside. The moon hid behind a thick veil of clouds, casting an eerie darkness upon the winding road ahead. A sense of unease nestled within me, but I shrugged it off as mere jitters. The only source of light was my car's headlights, cutting through the velvety blackness like a beacon of safety. The surrounding landscape seemed untouched by human presence, with gnarled trees lining the road like silent sentinels. Shadows danced on the periphery of my vision, evoking an uncanny sensation. As I pressed deeper into the night, an ominous fog slithered in, swallowing the road ahead. Visibility diminished to a mere few feet, intensifying the feeling of isolation. My grip on the steering wheel tightened, my knuckles turning white as a chilling breeze swept through the open windows. The silence was deafening, broken only by the muffled hum of the car and the hushed whispers of the wind. Time seemed to stretch, each passing moment feeling like an eternity. I glanced nervously at the rearview mirror, half expecting to see something lurking in the opaque mist behind me. An unshakable sense of being watched settled over me, accompanied by a growing paranoia. My heart raced as I imagined shadowy figures darting through the fog, unseen eyes fixated on my every move. An icy shiver ran down my spine, and I fought the urge to turn back, to retreat from this haunting abyss. But a stubborn curiosity propelled me forward. What could possibly lie beyond this veil of darkness? My mind conjured visions of hidden secrets, of supernatural encounters waiting to be unveiled. Ignoring the warning signs, I accelerated into the unknown. With each passing mile, the road seemed to morph, its twists and turns becoming disorienting. The landscape blurred, merging into a disconcerting tapestry of distorted shapes. A flicker of doubt began to gnaw at my resolve, but a relentless desire to unravel the mystery urged me to press on. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the fog, standing in the middle of the road. Panic surged through me, and I slammed on the brakes, skidding to a halt just inches away from the silhouette. My heart pounded in my chest as the figure slowly turned towards me, revealing a face twisted with malice. A blood-curdling scream tore through the night, paralyzing me with fear. The figure lunged towards the car, its movements unnatural and bone-chilling. I fumbled for the keys, desperately trying to escape the clutches of this nightmare. As the engine roared back to life, I peeled away from that horrifying specter, leaving it behind in the dissipating fog. But the terrors of that night weren't over yet. The road itself seemed to conspire against me, morphing and shifting with each passing moment. Signs twisted into indecipherable shapes, pointing in contradictory directions. Streetlights flickered ominously, casting eerie shadows that seemed to follow my every move. The world had become a labyrinth of fear, a nightmarish trap from which there was no escape. My mind teetered on the edge of sanity as the hours ticked by, the relentless darkness becoming my relentless companion. Whispers echoed through the cabin, their sinister voices taunting and tormenting. Faces flashed in the periphery of my vision, disappearing as quickly as they appeared. Exhaustion clawed at my senses, threatening to pull me into a nightmarish slumber. But I fought against it, knowing that succumbing to sleep would mean surrendering to the horrors lurking in this realm of perpetual night. And so, I continued to drive, my mind a battleground. Driving through the night, I found myself on a forgotten road, far from any signs of civilization. The atmosphere grew dense with an uncanny stillness, as if time itself held its breath. My headlights cut through the inky darkness, revealing glimpses of a desolate landscape. As I ventured deeper, an unsettling feeling washed over me. The road seemed to stretch endlessly, without a single turn or landmark in sight. Panic tinged my thoughts, but I pressed on, driven by an unknown force. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the shadows, standing motionless at the edge of the road. My heart skipped a beat as I realized it was a woman, her long, tangled hair obscuring her face. Something about her sent shivers down my spine. I slowed the car, unsure of what to do. Her presence seemed otherworldly, ethereal. But before I could react, she vanished, dissolving into thin air. Bewilderment gripped me, but a deep-rooted curiosity pushed me to investigate further. Leaving the safety of my vehicle, I followed the path where the woman had stood. The air grew icy, and a haunting silence settled over the surroundings. The road seemed to warp and twist, leading me into a maze of darkness. With every step, the world around me transformed. Shadows danced with a life of their own, whispering sinister secrets. The sound of my own footsteps echoed, but I sensed I was not alone. Voices emerged from the abyss, murmuring indistinctly. Faces materialized, fleeting and grotesque. Dread consumed me, but I couldn't turn back. The forgotten road had claimed me, ensnaring me in its sinister grip. Hours turned into eternity as I wandered the labyrinthine path. Sanity teetered on the edge, my mind a jumble of fear and confusion. The road seemed to mock my existence, a cruel manifestation of my deepest nightmares. And just when I thought I couldn't endure another moment, the road abruptly ended. Before me stood an ancient, crumbling gate. As I pushed it open, a blinding light enveloped me, erasing the darkness that had plagued my soul. I stumbled out onto a familiar street, the forgotten road vanishing behind me. Relief washed over me, mingled with lingering unease. The memory of that twisted path would forever haunt my dreams, a reminder of the forgotten horrors that lurk just beyond the veil of the ordinary. On a moonlit night, I set out on a long drive along a desolate highway. The stars shimmered above, casting a gentle glow upon the road. But as the miles passed, a subtle unease settled within me, as if the very fabric of reality was unraveling. The radio crackled with static, playing distorted melodies that sent a chill down my spine. Shadows danced at the edge of my vision, their movements erratic and unsettling. The familiar landmarks I passed seemed distorted, as if twisted by unseen hands. A sense of being watched lingered, as if invisible eyes followed my every move. Goosebumps prickled my skin, and I resisted the urge to glance over my shoulder. The highway seemed to stretch endlessly, devoid of other travelers, trapped in a timeless void. Suddenly, a figure appeared in the distance, standing motionless in the middle of the road. My heart raced as I approached, the details slowly coming into focus. It was a young girl, her pale face hauntingly beautiful, her eyes devoid of light. I slammed on the brakes, my heart pounding in my chest. As I stepped out of the car, a haunting silence enveloped the surroundings. The girl's gaze locked with mine, her presence exuding an otherworldly energy. Without a word, she extended a trembling hand, her voice a whisper on the wind. "Help me," she pleaded, her words laced with sorrow. But before I could react, she vanished into thin air, leaving me standing alone on the empty highway. Confusion and dread flooded my senses, but an overwhelming curiosity pushed me to uncover the truth. I ventured further, following an invisible thread that tugged at my intuition. The road grew more treacherous, as if nature itself rebelled against my presence. Whispers echoed through the night, carried on the breeze. Shadows morphed into grotesque shapes, writhing in the periphery of my vision. The world around me blurred, a cacophony of fear and surrealism. Hours turned into an eternity as I journeyed deeper into the unknown. The highway seemed to twist and turn, leading me to places beyond comprehension. The barriers between dimensions thinned, revealing glimpses of a realm beyond mortal understanding. At last, I reached a dilapidated house standing in solitude. Its windows were shattered, its walls covered in moss and decay. With a mix of trepidation and determination, I crossed the threshold, stepping into a realm where the veil between the living and the dead was thin. Whispers echoed through the empty corridors, guiding me to a room shrouded in darkness. A flickering candle cast eerie shadows on the walls, illuminating an old photograph resting on a dusty shelf. It depicted the young girl, her eyes filled with anguish. In that moment, I understood. The haunted highway was a conduit for lost souls, forever trapped in a world between worlds. And as I left the house, the weight of their stories settled upon my shoulders, a reminder of the mysteries that dwell just beyond the reach of ordinary perception.